Okay, you can see my screen also. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay, we will start. So we have finished with corrosives. We have finished with corrosives, mineral, organic, vegetable, all the corrosive acids we have finished with. Now we will go to the next group of poisons. That is very big group actually. The classification of irritant poisons: organic, inorganic, metal, non-metal, vegetable, animal. So many poisons are there. Any problem with video or audio? You can hear me? Okay. I had got disconnected. I had got disconnected for a few seconds. That's why I asked. Okay. I hope everything is fine. Audio, video, everything. Last time in yesterday's lecture we had seen about the corrosive poisons, and the another group, that is irritant poisons. We have studied the classification of the poisons. So in that we have seen the second group of poisons, that is irritants. That is the biggest group. It is the biggest group of the poisons, that is irritant poisons. Then so many poisons come under that: organic, inorganic, vegetable, animal, metal, non-metal. So many are there. There are so many sub-classifications of these irritant poisons. So today we will start with metals. Today we will start with metals. So the first topic we will see from irritants is lead poison. So we'll see lead poison in detail. And I tell you, lead poison is asked as a 20 marks long question. I have told you the one question out of 5, 6 and 7. That is why I'm asking. Am I? You can see the screen. You can see my screen nicely without any dist. You can't see my screen also. You can't see my screen also. I hope this is better than previous one. Now you can see I have not yet shared the screen. I have not yet shared the screen. I have just started the video. You can hear me? And about what about my video? You can see me. No, no, I have not yet shared the video. I have not started shared the screen. I have just started with my video. So you can see me on the screen. Okay, I will share. Okay, okay, okay. I will share the screen now. I will share the screen and please tell me when I will share the screen. Please tell me whether you can see the screen or not. Yes or no. Hmm? You can see my screen. Lead poison. Okay, now I think, yes, I think it has to be better than previous one. Okay, we will continue. So today we will start with lead poison. It is one of the poison. It is one of the heavy metals. We have seen the classification. Irritants are classified into metals, non-metal, organic, inorganic, metals, non-metals. So we will start with the metal group. So from metals, now we will see today lead poison. So lead is commonly asked as a 20 mark long question. The lead poison is asked as a 20 mark question. You know, out of those three questions, question number 5, 6, 7, one question is from general toxicology, maybe classification, action, absorption, general treatment, antidotes, whatever. So anything can be asked as a 20 mark long question, divided question, of course. And the two questions are from individual poisons, separate individual poisons. So out of those two questions, this lead can be asked. It is asked as a 20 mark long question. And if not asked as a 20 mark long question, there is always going to be one or two questions in 5 mark short note as well as 2 mark question. Short answer 2 mark questions are also so many are there in the lead poison. As we will come across all those points, I will tell you which can be asked as a 2 mark question, which can be asked as a 5 mark short note. So we will see physical and chemical properties of lead. Lead is commonly known as shisha. Where we use lead commonly? In our pencil, in writing material, in colors and all. So we use this lead particularly for writing, for painting, for colors and all. So it is commonly known as shisha. The soluble compound of lead, soluble compounds of lead are more poisonous. Instead of that metallic or hard metallic lead, the soluble compounds of lead are more poisonous because they will be rapidly dissolved and rapidly absorbed. And volatile lead, which gives up the fumes, which gives up the fumes, so that volatile lead is more poisonous. There are some chemical preparations of lead which are volatile in nature, and it is poisonous by ingestion as well as inhalation. So the soluble compounds when ingested, they will be absorbed across the gastrointestinal tract mucosa and will cause poisoning. As well as inhalation, we have seen volatile lead when it will be inhaled, when the fumes of the lead will be inhaled, they will be deadly poisonous. So it is very deadly poison. It is a very deadly poison when particularly in the state of volatile lead, when its fumes are inhaled, and it is absorbed from skin as well as from the mucosa. So from the gastrointestinal tract mucosa as well as from the respiratory mucosa. So it is absorbed rapidly from skin when it will come in contact with the direct skin also, unbroken skin, it will be absorbed, and also from the different mucosal linings. It is 10 times more toxic when inhaled than ingested. That's what we have seen. Volatile lead is more poisonous. So this volatile lead, when it will be inhaled, it will be more dangerous. So it is 10 times more toxic. Lead is 10 times more toxic when it is inhaled than when it is ingested. So what is the primary effect? The basic effect or the basic pathology caused by lead, which causes the development of clinical features and rest of the pathological changes. So basic or primary pathological effect of lead poison is spasm of capillaries and arterioles. Remember this, it causes spasm of capillaries and arteries, so mainly small arteries. It causes small or minute arteries to undergo spasm, and it leads to its pathological effects. So toxic effects are due to Fixation of lead to the tissue. The tissue will get deposited in the brain as well as in the peripheral nerves and will cause paralysis and all that we'll see in the clinical features. So toxic effects are also because of fixation of lead to the different parts or different tissues. Now what are the sources of lead? So lead is mainly available in the nature in the form of lead acetate, then lead oxide, that is very common, lead acetate and lead oxide, and the most dangerous preparation of lead is tetraethyl lead. So its fatal dose is very small, even a few drops or even the fumes, the smell of tetraethyl lead, that fumes of tetraethyl lead will also be deadly poisonous. So this is the um, most poisonous preparation. Otherwise it is available in the nature in the form of lead acetate, lead oxide and tetraethyl lead. Now we'll see the signs and symptoms. Signs and symptoms of acute lead poison. So we'll see in detail about the signs and symptoms. Sometimes only signs and symptoms of lead poison is asked as a 5-mark short note also. So you'll have to write down in detail. So there will be, because it is a metal, it is a heavy metal, there will be metallic taste in the mouth. There will be metallic taste in the mouth, and when it will reach the gastrointestinal tract, it will cause severe colicky pain in the abdomen and vomiting. Colicky pain in the abdomen, and because of irritation of the gastric mucosa, there will be vomiting. Vomiting with colicky pain in the abdomen, which is relieved by pressure. So patient will feel better by प्रेसिंग द एब्डोमेन हार्ड, जोर से दबाने पे उसका पेन कम हो जाएगा. Yes, mute yourself. Who is making noise? So there is vomiting when it will reach the stomach. It will cause irritation of the gastric mucosa and will cause colic pain in the abdomen, which is relieved by pressure. The stools are offensive and black colored. Stools are offensive and black colored. That is because of formation of lead sulfide. Then urine is suppressed because this poison also, when it is systemically absorbed, it will also affect the kidneys. It will alter the functions of the kidney. That's why it will cause suppression of the urine secretion. And there are cramps in the legs. There will be violent cramps in the legs with pain in the joints. Then headache, patient will have headache, drowsiness, paralysis. That is because of involvement of the nervous system. We have seen it is deposited in the brain and the nerves. It gets deposited in the peripheral nerves. That's why it will cause paralysis of the limbs. So headache, drowsiness because of involvement of the nervous system, and paralysis of the limbs, and collapse can occur even in severe cases because of vomiting and all. Patient can get dehydrated. In collapse state there can be death of the person. Death can be there because of acute lead poisoning. Then chronic poisoning is very common. You will very rarely seen the acute poisoning with lead. Acute lead poisoning is very rare, but commonly you will see chronic lead poisoning, that we will see further. The children and adults, the children and in adults, in case of tetraethyl, I tell you, tetraethyl lead is very dangerous. Tetraethyl lead is the most poisonous preparation of lead. The gastric symptoms are minimal. The gastric symptoms are minimal or even absent. Sorry. So gastric symptoms are minimal or absent, and patient can directly have the symptoms of nervous system involvement of the nervous system. So children and adults with tetraethyl lead, the gastric symptoms may be absent or very minimal, and patient will directly manifest with neurological manifestations. And these neurological manifestations are in the form of lead encephalopathy. So whatever the toxic or whatever the harmful effects are observed on the nervous system or on the cerebrum, they are collectively clinically the presentation of this nervous system manifestations is called as lead encephalopathy. So lead encephalopathy can be asked as a 2-mark question. What is lead encephalopathy? So lead encephalopathy is involvement of the nervous system by lead poison, and it is manifested by headache, tremors of the eyes, twitching movement of the eyes, mouth and fingers, tremors of the eyes, mouth, and patient will not do any fine work, वो fine work कर नहीं पाएगा, उसके हाथ ऐसे कांपेंगे, there will be tremors of the fingers. Then incoordination, because of that tremors, patient will have incoordinated movements, paralysis, loss of vision, hallucination, can be excitement, delirium, and convulsion. So these all are the clinical features of lead encephalopathy, that is involvement of the nervous system by lead poison. Then there can be even permanent mental changes because of the involvement of the higher centers. Patient can be mentally disturbed. There can be psychiatric symptoms called as lead insanity. Lead insanity. Now, fatal dose again can be asked as a 2 mark question. Fatal dose and fatal period. So fatal dose of lead is 0.5 gram, 0.5 gram, आधा gram. So absorbed lead 0.5 gram. Lead acetate can be dangerous in 20 grams क्योंकि it is in a chemical combination, it is in a chemical combination, तो उसका थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा डोज लगेगा. 20 grams of lead acetate will be lethal for an adult. And I told you tetraethyl lead, that is the most dangerous preparation of lead. Hardly 1 to 2 drops, एक या दो बूंदे भी अगर पेट में जाती है, if you put 1 or 2 drops of tetraethyl lead into the mouth or even into the nose, the person can die by these 1 to 2 drops also. Now fatal period is on 2 to 3 days. So death can occur on second or third day after poisoning. So it takes some time. Now treatment with acute treatment of acute lead poisoning. If the patient comes to you with acute, that is very rare. It is very acute lead poisoning is very rare. So when there is any patient of acute lead poisoning, you will have to start the treatment with stomach wash because it is a heavy metal. It will take some time to be absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract. So stomach wash can be given in the early hours of the treatment with 10% solution of magnesium sulfate. 10% solution of magnesium sulfate with ample washing of the stomach with plain water. The stomach is to be repeatedly and thoroughly washed with plain water to remove the lead sulfate, so that unabsorbed lead sulfate can be taken out with ample washing or thorough washing with plain water. Then a patient is having severe colicky pain in the abdomen. Patient is having severe colicky pain in the abdomen. You can go for morphine and atropine. Morphine, that is a pain relieving agent. So it is opioid, it is derived from the opium. So it is an opiate derivative. So this morphine and atropine can be given for colic. Then you can go for regular bowel wash because we have seen the stools are black colored because of lead sulfide. So the lead can go further into the small and even into the large intestine. That's why that unabsorbed lead from the bowel can be taken out by giving enema. What do we call it as enema? That is bowel wash I have mentioned here. So regular bowel wash, what we call it as enema. So unabsorbed poison from the large intestine can be taken out with enema. Then calcium salts. Calcium causes storage of lead in the body. That's why they should be prevented. And vitamin D can be given in the dose of 100 milligram. Then if tetraethyl lead poisoning is there, tetraethyl lead, and particularly it has spilled on the skin, मतलब skin पे गिरा है, inhale नहीं किया, मुंह में नहीं गया, पेट में नहीं गया है. If the tetraethyl lead has been spilled on the skin पे गिर गया है, so you should wash the skin, you should wash the exposed skin or that part of the body which has directly come in contact with the tetraethyl lead with kerosene in 15 minutes. तुरंत tetraethyl lead skin पे गिरने के बाद तुरंत that part of the body is to be washed with kerosene because kerosene will neutralize this tetraethyl lead. Now very important is chronic lead poisoning. It is very important and very commonly seen, chronic lead poisoning. So lead poisoning is always chronic, means very rarely you will get the acute lead poisoning patient. So chronic lead poisoning, which is more commonly seen. How the exposure can occur? How the exposure can occur so that the person will develop chronic lead poisoning. So particularly in industries, industrial exposure, the hands and mouth of the worker is continuously coming in contact with the lead, and that's why it is absorbing small amounts repeatedly. And the examples I have given a few: type settings, plumbing, glazing, pottery. Pottery मतलब बर्तन पे जो भी काम करते हैं ना, पेंटिंग का, डेकोरेशन का, वो. एंड टाइप सेटिंग. Now, it is very difficult to explain to you people or the students of your generation, because you might not have seen the old printing press. ओल्ड प्रिंटिंग प्रेस कैसे प्रिंट किया करते थे. एक एक पेज का अलग अलग ब्लॉक बना के, वो पुराने वाले बहुत बड़े बड़े प्रिंटिंग मशीन हुआ करते थे, उसके ऊपर से एक एक टाइम पे एक कागज छपता था ऐसा. एंड नाउ डेज यू जस्ट क्लिक ऑन द कंप्यूटर, you get hundreds or even thousands of prints even very short period of time. But previously वो जो टाइप सेटिंग का काम जो किया करते थे वो वर्कर्स वर्किंग इन द प्रिंटिंग प्रेस, they used to uh, come in contact with this lead for the whole day. तो उनका पूरा बदन काला हो जाया करता था because of that continuous exposure and coming in direct contact with those letters, so many letters from A to Z, everything means. Now it is very difficult to explain you like this on this online lecture how they used to prepare the page for typing or for printing. So those workers or the laborers working in the typesetting or in the printing press, they used to get exposed to lead for long periods, maybe for days, months, or even years. And that small amount of the lead used to get into their body either through the nose, mouth, skin, from anywhere. And that's why they used to develop chronic lead poisoning. Then inhalation. Next is inhalation. It can be inhaled. Lead can be inhaled in case of manufacture of white lead. In case of diamond cutting, diamond cut करते वक्त वो जो डस्ट उड़ता है वो नाक में मुंह में जा सकता है, so it can be inhaled. And car welding and polishing, car welding and polishing के वक्त जो भी उसका डस्ट उड़ता है, that can be inhaled by those workers. They are very in or in close contact with the those fumes and those dust of the lead. Then skin, hands, mouth and lungs, particularly in case of painting, tinning and vitreous enameling. मतलब वो पेंटिंग के सब काम है, पेंटिंग और टिनिंग. लीड के कुछ बर्तन वगैरह रहते हैं और कुछ मेटल्स में वो लीड मिक्स किया जाता है बर्तन बनाने के लिए. So the people who are continuously in contact with the colors, colors contain lead. जो भी तुम्हारे कलर रहेंगे, वो कलर बॉक्स रहता है, बॉटल्स वगैरह कलर के अलग अलग आते हैं. घर को कलर देने के लिए जो भी कलर के बॉक्स, छोटे मोटे टिफिन डिब्बे आ जाते हैं, उसके पैकिंग्स आ जाते हैं. वो जो सब पैक कलर रहता है, ईच एंड एवरी कलर कंटेन्स लीड. सो दैट्स वाई दोज पेंटर्स और वो कलरिंग का काम करने वाले जो लोग हैं, they are continuously in contact with the lead because they are continuously dealing with those colors. So skin, head, mouth and lungs because of inhalation, particularly the people related with painting, टिनिंग, वो बर्तनों से संबंधित जो भी डेकोरेशन या पेंटिंग रहता है उसके ऊपर, those workers. Then home. Now this is about industrial exposure, hands and mouth, inhalation, skin, hands, mouth and lungs. Now domestic exposure can also be there. So not necessarily only industrial exposure. There can be also डोमेस्टिक. तुम्हारे घर पे भी कुछ कुछ चीज़ों में से लीड कंटिन्यूसली और रिपीटेडली तुम्हारे घर में जाता है. सो घी स्टोर इन द टिन्स, ऐसे कुछ बर्तन रहते हैं. अब तुम लोगों को भी पता रहेगा, तुम्हारी माँ, दादी, नानी एक ही डिब्बा कई जनरेशन से 20 साल, 30 साल, 40 साल से अपना एक ही डिब्बा फिक्स रहता है कि घी सिर्फ इसी डिब्बे में रखना है. तो दादी उसी में रखती है, बहू आने के बाद बहू भी उसी में रहती है, बच्ची भी उसी में रहती है. सो वो हमारा जो घी का डिब्बा है सालों तक बदलता नहीं. तो वो जो डिब्बा जो है, दैट टीन, it contains so many metals. स्टील का रहता है, so many varieties of that. लीड के भी कुछ बर्तन रहते हैं मेटल्स के, उसमें लीड भी मिक्स रहता है. So if the ghee is stored in the tins and you are using that ghee repeatedly for years together, so small amount of lead is continuously, you can say, getting released. So the small amount of lead is continuously getting released and mixed with the ghee, and you are consuming that ghee mixed with the lead for years together, so it can cause chronic lead poisoning. Then food cooked in the tin vessels. So tin vessels में भी lead रहता है. So if the food is repeatedly or daily, तुम जो भी घर में खाना बनाते हो, it is daily or repeatedly cooked in the tin vessels. So small amount of lead is getting mixed with the food, and it is ingested along with the food. And formerly drinking water supply was through the lead pipes. पूरा अभी तो सब पीवीसी के वगैरह प्लास्टिक के पाइप आते हैं, पीवीसी के वगैरह. तो पुराने ज़माने में वो मेटल के आते थे, मेटल के पाइप आया करते थे. आज भी कुछ पुरानी बिल्डिंग्स में, कुछ पुराने कंस्ट्रक्शन में लीड के मेटल के पाइप दिखते हैं. सो द दैट पर्टिकुलर सोसाइटी और दैट हाउस विच इज रिसीविंग द ड्रिंकिंग वाटर थ्रू these metal pipes or through the lead pipes, continuously small amount of lead is gets leaked or released into that drinking water, which is swallowed by those people living in that particular home, in the society, or in that building, and that's why they all are exposed to the minute amounts of lead repeatedly for years together, and it will cause chronic lead poisoning. So these are the two ways: industrial and home. Then mobilization of the lead. This is very important point in the treatment part actually, that we'll see in treatment. So mobilization of lead that has been already stored in the body when the reaction of the blood changes. So lead means when it will be acidic, when the reaction of the blood will become acidic, lead is mobilized from the bones suddenly, and it will come into the blood circulation. That we'll see in the treatment part actually. So this is lead line. Okay, that we'll see. Well, this I have not yet explained this. What is lead line? You can see a black colored line between teeth and gum at the base of the teeth, particularly here at the upper jaw here. This is the line. This black colored line seen at the junction of teeth and gums, what we call as lead line, that we'll see. Okay, this thing I have not yet explained. I will show you this image when we come across that. Now we have seen how the chronic lead poisoning occurs, either by industrial exposure or by domestic exposure. So what will be the clinical features? Now again I repeat what I have already told you. The basic pathology of lead poison is spasm of capillaries and arterioles. So there will be spasm of capillaries, small minute capillaries or minute arterioles, and that will give rise to the basic pathology, the clinical features. So signs and symptoms of chronic, I have mentioned it point wise. It has been mentioned in point wise, so that it will be easy for you to understand. And when asked as a long question, you will have to mention in this manner only. So first clinical feature of chronic lead poisoning is facial pallor. Pallor means normally जो हमारा face रहता है, because of the blood supply it is pinkish, or you can say it looks, and in case of anemia what happens, it looks pale, pale because of less blood supply. What we call it as pallor, facial pallor. तो pale चेहरा जो है वो नॉर्मल से बहुत ज़्यादा पेल दिखेगा because of lack of blood supply. Why? Because of the spasm of the arterioles. Because of the spasm of the arterioles, the face will look pale, its blood supply will be reduced and it will look pale. So it is particularly in the beginning, it is particularly seen around the mouth. There will be facial pallor around the mouth. It is earliest and consistent sign. मतलब हर एक lead poisoning के patient में तुम्हें ये sign दिखेगा. And it is because of vasospasm, just I told you, because of spasm of the arteries or arterioles which are supplying the face. The blood supply to the face will be reduced and it will cause pallor of the face. Then second important feature is anemia and punctate basophilia. Anemia and punctate basophilia. Anemia, reduced hemoglobin percent, and punctate basophilia. This is very commonly asked as a 2-mark question. What is punctate basophilia? And also asked in oral exam. So whenever the question is asked with punctate basophilia, students start with something related with basophils. Basophil is a type of granular WBC. WBC, granular and agranular. लेकिन वो जो है तुम्हारे eosinophil, basophil, neutrophil, उनमें से उनसे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है punctate basophilia से. This punctate basophilia has nothing to do with the granular WBCs, what we call them as basophils. उनका इसका कुछ संबंध नहीं है. It is related with RBCs. So anemia is because of increased fragility of RBC. RBC बहुत ज़्यादा break हो जाएंगे, hemolysis होगा. That's why patient will have anemia. Then this type of anemia is hypochromic anemia, that is the faint colored blood, faint color RBCs will be seen under microscope. Then reticulocytosis is the another feature, and poikilocytosis is another. Poikilocyte, that is the slight variation in the morphology of the RBC, that is poikilocytes. And reticulocytosis, reticulocytes, have you heard this term before this, reticulocytes? Anyone? Where? Yes, very good. So, reticulocyte, the developmental stages of RBC. I don't want to go into physiology actually, but do you know the stages in the development of RBC? What is the precursor cell for RBC? Anyone? What is the precursor cell for RBC? From which cell the RBCs are formed? अरे बाप रे, उसके पहले, that is one of the stages. That is one of the stages. Are you are telling me the stages. I am asking you the precursor cell from which the RBCs are developed. It is cytoblast. आगे सब, all are back. 45, 46. I can see 47. Okay, should I start? All are joining slowly. I will continue. I will continue. Okay, so the RBCs are formed from bone marrow, particularly from the bone marrow, and the precursor cell for RBC is hemocytoblast. Now you told me a few stages. So what are the stages in the development of RBC? Hemocytoblast, proerythroblast, early normoblast, intermediate normoblast, late normoblast, reticulocyte, and RBC. Am I correct? Or anything is missing? Hemocytoblast, proerythroblast, early, intermediate, late normoblast, then reticulocyte, and lastly mature RBC. Correct? Yes, I have studied it in 1994 in my first year BHMS, 1994. Still I can remember. Okay. So reticulocyte is, you can call it as immature RBC. Now, okay, one more important question from physiology. Reticulocytes are normally present in circulation or not? Small, small, small amount. Tell me precise amount. Hey, I am not asking you size. The number of cells which are present in the blood. अरे बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. It is 2%. It is 2%. So reticulocytes are present in normal circulation in 2%. मतलब 100 RBCs के पीछे 2 reticulocytes तुम्हें blood circulation में मिल सकते हैं. But what happens here? The patient is having anemia. Maybe because of hemolysis, what we have seen in the first point, increased fragility of RBC, RBCs are breaking down. That's why large amount of RBCs are needed to be produced from bone marrow. So in that hurry, large amount of reticulocytes are released into the blood. So the amount of reticulocytes is more than normal. So that's why we are calling it as reticulocytosis. Got? What is reticulocytosis? When abnormally large number of reticulocytes are released into circulation. That is reticulocytosis. And poikilocytosis, and that you will study it in detail in pathology. Now I will not go in detail with those poikilocytes and all. That you will study it in pathology. Then decreased PMNL. What is PMNL? What is PMNL? Full form of PMNL? Yes, also called as, simply they are also called as, ये किसका दूसरा ना, yes, neutrophils. So neutrophil count will be reduced and there will be increased mononuclear cell. What are the mononuclear cells in the blood? And lymphocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes will be increased in number. Now I will not ask you the normal number or normal percentage of monocyte, normal percentage of lymphocyte. तुम लोगों को तो पता है, I know, you all of you know. That's why I will not ask what is the normal count of monocytes, what is the normal count of lymphocytes, and what is the normal count of neutrophils. वो तो सब तुम लोगों को पता है. Now this is about anemia. This is about anemia. Then punctate basophilia, which is asked as a 2 mark short answer question. What is punctate basophilia? So punctate basophilia is dark blue colored pinhead like spot is seen in the cytoplasm of RBC. When you will see the blood sample from a lead poisoning patient under microscope after staining and all, you will get a dark blue color. Normally there is no any staining, there is no any granule. No granules are seen in the cytoplasm of the RBC, but in case of this lead poisoning, a small dot, pin's head like a small dot will be seen in the cytoplasm of the RBC, and this dye is taking the basic dye. This spot, blue color spot is taking the basic dye. That's why the condition is called as punctate basophilia. Punctate मतलब पिन की तरह एक छोटा सा डॉट. That's why punctate. एक पिन की तरह एक छोटा सा डॉट दिखेगा. That's why it is called as punctate. And why we are calling it as basophilia? Because it is taking the basophilic stain. Two types of stain, acidic dye and basic dye. So it is taking the basic dye, that is blue colored. That's why this spot, this pin's head like spot, looks blue in color, and that's why the condition is called as punctate basophilia. So how you will write the answer in the 2 mark question? Punctate basophilia, it is seen in chronic lead poisoning. It is a dark blue colored pin's head like spot seen in the cytoplasm of the RBCs, and it is because of the toxic action of porphyrin metabolism. Now let's see in detail about that. So got, first is facial pallor, second is anemia and punctate basophilia. Okay, I think Gupte madam has added this image somewhere. You can see that blue spot in the cytoplasm of the RBC. I think here with the arrow it has been shown. Basophilic stippling, that is the spot in the cytoplasm of the RBC can be seen. Then we will see lead line, again very important feature. Very important feature of chronic lead poisoning is lead line. Again asked as a 2 mark question. Lead line is very commonly asked as a 2 mark question. So it is a bluish black line due to deposition of lead subepithelial epithelial lining के नीचे. So bluish black line due to subepithelial deposition of lead sulfide on the gum, particularly at the junction with teeth. At the junction of gums and teeth. It is seen on the gums with caries. मतलब जो दांत पहले से खराब है, जिस दांत में पहले से केरीज है, जो दांत पहले से इन्फेक्शन की वजह से सड़ चुका है, ऐसे खराब और केरीज हुए दांतों में वो ज्यादातर दिखेगा. सो लीड लाइन इज, अगेन हाउ विल यू, एंड इट इज मेनली सीन इन अपर जॉ. नीचे वाले में भी दिख सकता है बट कॉमनली सीन इन अपर जॉ. सो लीड लाइन, हाउ यू विल राइट इन 2 mark question? It is a bluish black line seen in chronic lead poisoning, and it is seen at the junction of gums and teeth, and that is because of subepithelial deposition or deposition of lead sulfide at the junction of teeth and gum, mainly seen in upper jaw. So this is asked as a 2-mark question. So facial pallor because of spasm of the arterioles of the face. Anemia and punctate basophilia. Anemia is because of increased fragility of RBC and reticulocytosis, and punctate basophilia is a blue colored dot, a small blue colored dot in the cytoplasm of the RBCs, which is taking the blue colored basic dye. And lead line is this is the dark colored line. This is the dark colored line at the junction of teeth and gum, that is the deposition of lead sulfide. Can you see this black colored line? See the black colored line at the junction of teeth and gum, ऊपर वाले jaw में prominently दिख रही है. Everyone can see, and this is punctate basophilia. Okay, then now I'll see next clinical feature, next group of clinical presentation of chronic lead poisoning is colic and constipation. Colic is the first symptom. जैसे पेशेंट को लीड पॉइजनिंग के सिम्टम चालू हो जाएंगे, पेशेंट विल हैव कोलिकी पेन इन द एब्डोमेन. Patient will have colicky pain in the abdomen. So it will affect the particularly smooth muscles. It will first affect the smooth muscles of ureters, smooth muscles of the uterus, blood vessels and intestine also. So there will be spasmodic and recurrent pain which is relieved by pressure. So this neurological pressure, pain is relieved by pressure, and patient will have obstinate constipation. So बहुत सारे poisons तुम्हें lose motion वगैरह दिखाई देगा in so many poisons, but in lead poison patient will get obstinate constipation with black colored stools. Obstinate constipation with black colored stool because of excretion of lead sulfide through the bowels. So colic affecting ureters, patient will have ureteric colic like symptom. Uterus, spasmodic contraction of the uterus will cause colicky pain in the pelvic region and also of the intestine. The pain is spasmodic in region and recurring. मतलब colics आएंगे जाएंगे, patient will have pain free period between the two attacks of the pain. That's why we have called it as recurrent pain. Then next is lead palsy. Here we have seen lead line. Now we will see lead palsy. Palsy means paralysis. Lead paralysis is common with tetraethyl lead. If the poisoning has occurred with tetraethyl lead, which is deadly poisonous, patient will have involvement of certain groups of the muscles. Certain groups of the muscles will undergo paralysis, and it will be manifested by wrist drop. Wrist drop will be because of paralysis of extensor muscles. So extensors की वजह से क्या होगा, because of the paralysis of the extensors, patient will not be able to extend the wrist. Patient will not be able to extend the wrist, and that's why there will be wrist drop. नीचे की तरफ palm की तरफ झुक जाएगा, and patient will not be able to perform the extension of the wrist joint. The condition is called as wrist drop. Then foot drop. Foot drop particularly because of peroneal muscle, groups of the peroneus, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis. Because of paralysis of the peroneal muscles, patient will have foot drop, and other muscles can also be involved, other muscular groups can also be involved, and it causes degeneration and atrophy of the muscles, causing even the permanent changes. Then next is N7. Lead palsy is also asked as a 2-mark question. इनमें से कोई भी एक आ सकता है, punctate basophilia, lead line or lead palsy. Encephalopathy, I have already told you, encephalopathy is seen in less than 10% cases, and particularly with tetraethyl lead, and patient will manifest with convulsions and mental deterioration because of psychiatric problems, because of involvement of the higher centers. Patient can have mental deterioration, so mentally भी उसका condition बिगड़ जाएगा. Then renovascular, because again we'll come to the basic pathology. The basic pathology of lead poisoning is vasospasm, arteriospasm, and because of that the microcirculation in the kidney will be affected, and patient will suffer from nephropathy. Then there can be increased blood pressure because of the vasoconstriction. Constriction of we have seen it causes constriction or spasm of the arterioles. So because of the vasoconstriction, there can be increased blood pressure. Then reproductive system, menstrual disorders can be there because it is affecting the blood supply of the uterus, or the spasm of the uterus, painful contraction of the uterus. So it will cause dysmenorrhea. So during menstrual flow, the lady can have severe pain in the pelvis, in the pelvic region, because of dysmenorrhea. Amenorrhea can be there, menorrhagia, so many menstrual disturbances will be there. Then tonic contractions of the uterus can cause abortion. Means it can happen that here we have seen how it affects here spasmodic, that colic and spasmodic contraction affecting the uterus. So this uterus, when the uterus will contract, say for example the woman who is having lead poisoning and she has undergone pregnancy, she is pregnant right now, so there will be a contraction of the uterus, there will be violent contraction of the uterus, and that's why, because of the contractile movement of continuous contractile movements of the uterus, spasmodic contraction of the uterus, what will happen, the contents of the uterus will be expelled out. They will be expelled out, and that's why it will lead to abortion. And it can also cause sterility in both the sexes, in males as well as in the female, because of disturbed blood supply of the ovaries or disturbed blood supply of the testicles because of vasospasm. So patient can have sterility. And lastly, general weakness, anorexia, that is loss of appetite, dyspepsia, that is complaints related with acidity, indigestion and all, foul breath, headache, vertigo, drowsiness because of involvement of the nervous system, and arthralgia, that is pain in the joints. Multiple arthralgia can be there. So this is about the chronic lead poisoning. So I have grouped the clinical features as, I will just revise: facial pallor, anemia and punctate basophilia, that is pinhead-like spot in the cytoplasm of the RBC, taking the basic dye, lead line at the junction of teeth and gums, deposition of what, lead sulfide, deposition of lead sulfide at the junction of teeth and gum, particularly in those teeth which are already infected or caries is already present. Colic and constipation because of spasm of the smooth muscles of the abdomen. Then lead palsy, paralysis of certain groups of the muscles like wrist drop or foot drop. Encephalopathy because of involvement of the higher centers. Renovascular, microcirculation in the kidney can be affected, damaging the function of the kidney. Reproductive system, the spasm, violent spasm of the uterine muscles can cause abortion, and also patient can have dysmenorrhea. And lastly, sterility in both sexes. And general features, the general features of chronic lead poisoning can be in the form of general weakness, anorexia, dyspepsia, foul breath, headache, vertigo, drowsiness because of involvement of the higher centers. So this is all about chronic lead poison. How to go back to the meeting from here? Yes. Okay then. एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर, समझ में आ रहा है? अरे फॉरेंसिक के क्वेश्चन पूछने थे, पढ़ा था क्या कुछ? फॉरेंसिक के जो भी हमने पढ़ा है अब तक फॉरेंसिक का, फॉरेंसिक मेडिसिन का, उसके कुछ सवाल पूछने थे, पूछो क्या? बोलो, इफ यू आर रेडी आई विल आस्क अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस, अदरवाइज लेट अस सी टुमारो, विल सी इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. तुम बोलो, you have read something, are you prepared for that? Yes or no? तुम तो ना ही बोलने वाले, तुम बच्चे सब गुंडे है सब. Okay, I will stop here. But tomorrow I will surely ask. Tomorrow I will surely ask a few questions from forensic medicine which we have completed. जो भी हमारा complete हुआ है उसके ऊपर मैं कुछ 2 mark question पूछूंगा. Okay, then I will end the meeting. Bye everyone. See you.